grow your business with government contracts. So today I want to talk to everybody about reselling, right? That's a great way to, grow your business to where you're not completely shifting directions, but you're able to still do what you do on a day-to-day basis. And as a side hustle, you can sell to the government. You can sell to the government by reselling. So as a reseller, all you're doing is you are the middle person between the government and the manufacturer. So the government, they buy products all day, every day, right? They buy computers, office supplies, furniture, desk, janitorial supplies. They literally buy every kind of product you can probably think of: ammunition, guns, shoes, commissary, food. They buy a lot of products. So whatever business you're in right now, if you're able to find opportunities where you can sell something to the government, you can essentially find a contract. Okay, let's do an example. So let's say the government wants to buy 25 computers. You can easily find that contract, go get a quote from, let's say, Apple, add your profit on top, submit your bid, and then if you win that contract, you get to sell the computers to the government for a profit. That's literally the easiest way anybody can start doing government contracts without fully changing your business model, right? So all that is you go to your state, like right now, right? Like right now, everybody in this group, if you have a business, you can go to your state's website and see what they are selling. Once you see what they are selling, well, that's for the sale. See what they want to buy. They might want to buy, some mulch. I saw mulch earlier today. They wanted to buy 2,000 pounds of mulch, I guess, for landscaping. I saw some computers. I saw they wanted to buy some guns. They wanted to buy some cars. So you can essentially find that contract where they want to buy something. You call a few vendors, add a quote on top, add your profit on top, submit your bid to the government, and if you win that contract, you get to provide those particular products to the government. So I'm actually logging into the website right now where I can see what opportunities are out there. So I can kind of show you guys, well, I guess not show, tell you guys what kind of contracts are out there. Hey Darius, take over while I log into this thing.
Alright guys, so one good thing about being a reseller, which makes things a lot easier, is that the government isn't just one single person, meaning that when they want something delivered or something purchased, they are very specific about what they want. So they won't ever just say we need 50 laptops. They'll tell you, the name of the brand, the size of the screen, exactly how they want everything to be. And in most case scenarios, I'm sure, as Desmond will talk about later, when you're dealing with a website like Unison, which is literally the government's reselling website, when you're dealing with a website like theirs, they will literally have a link that will take you directly to the exact product that they want. So they already know how much the product costs. They already know that you're going to upsell them on it to get the price. They don't care about that. They just want the product to be sold and delivered. So you follow the link. You say, this is the total price. This is what I'm going to charge you for it. And literally with Unison, it's lowest price wins. And that's all it is. Now, your markup on that could be $500. Your markup on that could be $10,000 on it. The bottom line is the lowest price wins, and that's Unison is more of a strictly bid system with them.
Right. So pretty much what he's saying is the government buys everything, and if you can simply find a contract to provide a particular product to the government and they want the lowest price, just put your numbers in there, submit the bid. If you win the contract, you can provide that service. Like right now, I'm looking, they need IT equipment. There's lab supplies, IT supplies. They want to put a fence. We have sportsmen's ATVs, some ATVs, Dell laptops, shower curtains. Who would buy shower curtains for? Light sets, lighting, basketballs, guns, ammunition, cars, canned foods for the jail systems. You know, so there's a lot of different opportunities. There's all-terrain cars, bobcats, metal. So essentially, right now, everybody can enter the government market and start winning contracts. Everybody really can. I don't know why people aren't. Like I can talk about this all day. Anybody got a question? Please ask me a question so I can talk about your particular business.
Well, my question to you is, how do you spell what you just said? You said Unisons. Is that UNISYS?
ISON. UNISON.
Oh,
Yeah, unisons. It's unisons. Unison.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Hello, how you doing?
Hey, how are y'all doing? I have been following you for the amount of time I've been on Clubhouse, and I'm gonna come in every day until I can get things off the ground, and I'm starting from ground zero.
Okay.
So I want to follow up the question that was just asked. UNISON?
Yes, Unison's Marketplace.
Unison's Marketplace.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because I just haven't been able to find it. It's been taking me to other Unison, obviously.
Yeah, add Marketplace behind that.
Add Marketplace behind it, and there we go. It's right there. So I found that. And then, of course, I wanted to move on into maybe the specifics. I was looking through something. I've been looking through so much, and they said that they were looking for apparel.
Okay.
And so I'm assuming, let's say, t-shirts for the fire department, PT pants for the new recruits. And what you're saying is, you go on Unison, you find the stuff, you put out the bid, but with me being a brand new business, how can I push that I'm capable of getting it from Unison to them without having, let's say, the experience from before?
Okay, so with Unisons, well, with RFQs, right? They want the lowest price because they know, hey, we need shirts. It's not a complex product, so they just want the lowest price to someone that can deliver exactly what they want. So if you're able to get the apparel at the lowest price and submit your bid, they know you're not manufacturing the shirts, right? All they know is that you're gonna get the design that they want. So essentially, as long as you can submit the bid, you don't really have to verify that you're you have the past performance because it's a simple purchase. Now, if they said we want you to have your own manufacturing company and design all these shirts by yourself, you can't outsource it, then they would want your own capabilities. But if it's strictly, hey, we need 20,000 shirts, we need the lowest price, you can find a vendor who can give you those shirts, add your profit on top, and submit the bid. If you win the contract, and let's say they say, hey, send me your references, you can call the vendor and use the vendor's references because that's not you, right? So with RFQs, it's really, if you simply just submit the bid, worst case scenario, they'll tell you, hey, give me your references. If you don't have references, they'll reward it to the next person in line. But chances are, for an RFQ, which is the lowest price technically acceptable, they're not too pressed on your past performance. They just want to get the lowest price. If it was an RFP where it's request for proposal, that's where they want to see your solution. That's where they want to see your capabilities. They want to see how you're going to solve that problem and if you have the capabilities to actually solve that problem, right? So if the apparel contract was an RFP, that would make more sense to where they want to see your technical capabilities to deliver on it. But since it's just an RFQ, they just want the lowest price. And I'm sure if you go in that contract, they will say we want the lowest price technically acceptable. And
Yes,
they said that, right? Exactly. And also, one thing is inside the particular proposal, they're gonna tell you exactly what you need to do to qualify for this. It's in the evaluation criteria. They will tell you, hey, you must have this much experience, you must have this or must have this. What did they tell you in that contract?
Well, this was just something I was looking over in the bids, and I didn't go too far deep in it because I was just hoping that I could get off the ground and started and get my certifications and whatnot, because obviously I'm starting fresh.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in here when you were talking about having one LLC, have another LLC, and then have DBAs under that. So I was figuring that would be a good place to start, obviously for me, because I know I can buy T-shirts and get them to the city of Dallas because I'm in the city of Dallas. But I was really hoping that is it that the RFQs can actually create your capability statement for your RFPs. Like I've worked with the city of Dallas 10 times on this, and of course it was so many things that you said. I'm risk adverse.
That's the
I'm a problem
proposal, yeah.
solver.
Yeah, so those
Yeah, so
those are all proposals. That's where you're really like showing them your capabilities. Like that's a proposal at that point, right? And that's a large contract. Like for shirts, that's more so, hey, I just need shirts. Can you provide those shirts for me? Yes or no? If you can, what's your price?
yes. So once you're able to do stuff like that, can you use those to upsell yourself for the RFPs, or do you feel like it should be separate?
I don't think you can upsell yourself to the government. It's more so about giving them exactly what they want. Now, once you start doing business with, let's say, one particular agency, right? And you've done some great work with them providing shirts, you can always say, hey, what other opportunities do you guys need help with? Right? And
Yes, sir.
if they like working with you, they might say, hey, we need somebody to bid on this contract right here. We can't find somebody to do this. Then you can provide some value there. Like one thing I do is I know every procurement officer in my state. So I always call them and ask them, hey, what do you guys need help with? What contracts are not getting participated on? Who is not bidding on contracts that you guys need done? Like my state, they have trouble finding people to do elevator maintenance. They cannot find anybody to do it. So I've been able to find a few companies that do elevator maintenance, brought them into the government market, and helped them win some contracts. Because my job is to provide value to the agency. It's not
Yes,
about
sir.
what I can do for me. It's what can I help the government with. And if right now they need help with shirts, provide the best damn shirts you can possible to them. And when you do provide those shirts, say, hey, whatever you guys need, just let me know, right? Just let
Yes,
me
sir.
know so that I can help you guys more. I just want to help. Because if you come from that perspective, like I literally just want to help you guys, do your thing and be successful and be a great government agency that I know you guys are, right? Kind of like make them feel good. As long as you can do that for them, opportunities will present themselves on a regular basis that you can bid. You can even tell them, hey, add me on your mailing list. So when opportunities present themselves, they will email it to you. Now remember, with those mailing lists, they're sending to everybody else, right? Unless you tell the procurement officer specifically, hey, I'm really interested in these types of contracts, send those to me. But one thing I
Yes,
like to
sir.
do is you can just call the procurement officer and just say, hey, look, how you guys doing? My name is ABC. We do ABC, and we want to help you support anything. We want to help your agency, meet your missions. Whatever you guys need, just let us know. I'll be looking constantly on your website to see any opportunities that present themselves. If anything present themselves, I'll be reaching out to let you guys know I can do it. And just be a friend to them. And if you're a friend, eventually you'll start seeing contracts over and over and over again that they'll keep seeing your name on these bids. Even if you lose the bid, right? If they're seeing your name over and over and over again on these bids and you're really trying and they know who you are because you're building relationships, at some point they're gonna like, let's just give her the damn contract because she's being persistent. You know what I mean? They'll just say, let me just give her a contract at that point. And that's the thing too. So right now, we gotta understand we are in the middle of a pandemic right now. So they're not putting out that many contracts right now because of the pandemic, right? But as soon as things open up, there's going to be an influx of opportunity, especially right now because the government is literally printing so much money by the minute that the dollar is literally going to shit right now. But the thing is, other countries are so dependent on the dollar that they need the dollar, right? Because you can't transfer your money into a different currency because it uses the dollar, and the dollar is not based on the gold standard anymore. It's all fiat money, meaning it's just paper. So right now, even though you might have $20,000 in your account, that $20,000, let's say, could buy you a house in 2002. That same $20,000 can barely buy you a car in 2023, right? Because the value has been lowered so much. So that's why it's important that we realize that if the government is going to be printing money they're going to need businesses to receive those dollars. So we need to figure out how can we sell our services to the government. And the best way to do that is just give them what they want. And just make it simple like that. It's literally that simple. Find out what agency is in your neighborhoods, build relationships with them because they're just regular people, and then you just follow up. It's just like any other sales cycle. When you get a lead, you want to build a relationship. You want to prime them, right? And just keep giving value over and over again. Eventually, they'll buy your product. And prime example, let's say with this Clubhouse, if I keep coming on, you're giving value over and over and over and over again, what's going to happen? Eventually, some of you guys are going to buy my product, right? Because I'm giving, 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 giving. The same thing with the government. If you just keep giving, giving, giving them and helping them, get what they want, eventually they're just gonna give you a contract. And if you keep doing it over and over and over again, you're gonna win some big lucrative contracts. So it just starts with not being about you, but more so how can I help the government get what they need? And then once you finally get in the door, you want to stay in the door by providing additional value, right? Like prime example, let's say you win that apparel contract. It's, let's say, $25,000 contract, right? Now, while you're delivering that contract, you can essentially be like, hey, now I won this contract. I want to keep providing you guys some value. Do you have anything else you guys want me to do for you guys? They might say, yeah, I need you to bid on this to see what you can do. Then you submit a bid on there. They might say, are you able to do this job? You say no, but I'll get it done for you if you guys need it done. Like you don't have to show them your solution oriented just in the proposal. Show them your solution oriented whenever faced with any kind of problem. That way they know that if they call you, they know you get it done. If that means you go find a company that can do the job and help that company win their contract, and then just tell them, hey, I helped them win. I did that for you guys because I care about you guys. They're gonna find so much value in that, and that's why it's important, to be a contractor, a consultant, and a reseller, because you're literally able to do business with the same government agencies in different ways that eventually build your credibility, build your value up, right, and make it easy for you to win a contract down the road. So I really advocate for being a reseller, a contractor, and a consultant, because if the agency, let's say we are a staffing company, right? We're a staffing company. We provide staffing. So the government needs staffing. We provide that staffing service to the government, and they love this service. And while we're at it, we find out that, hey, they need some new furniture, and we help them, and we find the furniture for them, and we help them, win that contract providing furniture. Well, we help them. They need furniture. We essentially broker that contract and sell the furniture to the government. Then we find out that, hey, they're having trouble finding somebody to fix the elevators. You don't do elevators. What can you do? You can go find an elevator company, help that elevator company win that contract, and then you tell that government agency, hey, I couldn't find somebody to do it. Well, I couldn't do it myself, so I found someone else to do it. You guys are welcome. Again, I'm here to help you guys. Whatever you need, just let me know. Now, it's kind of if you're like the hitman kind of. You're the one that's going out there and knocking the doors for them and bringing them solutions, right? So it's really just about giving value and really trying to find out how you can just give as much value as possible to that agency and just build a relationship. The stronger your relationship is with that agency, the easier it is to win. Honestly, the easier it is to win.
I just want to testify to the contract side. Okay, so I've won several contracts with the government myself in my local area from just as a minority business, and I have a female partner. And basically, the county was looking to provide like free services to the community, and these services were just like teaching people about business, teaching people just little tips and suggestions. Helping them in their day-to-day life with just small classes. They required that we had to do 4 hours a day for 3 days a week. And honestly, for each class that we did, we made $10,000. And literally, I apologize for my background. I live in a hospital. I'm trying to get away. But essentially, I can testify to the fact that it is real. It did take building that relationship relationship. I did have to sit down. I even, ordered in some lunch, right? I sat down, hey, let's communicate, let's make some things happen. And, and I continue to do so. But, it really is real.
Yeah.
It really is.
It goes back to relationships. It's all about relationships in the government market. People try to overcomplicate it, but it's literally like, okay, so imagine, okay, let's say your job is the government, right? You work for the government. That's your employer. And you are responsible for buying whatever your employer needs. You have the employer credit card. If they want you to go to the grocery store, you essentially put a post on Craigslist, hey, I need groceries. And 10,000 people show up at your front door saying, I can go buy the groceries for you. Well, you got to pick the best person to provide that grocery, right? So let's say the same person keeps showing up over and over and over again, and they're just helping you the whole time, giving you value over and over and over again. Now, whenever you want to go groceries, you might not even post it anymore. You're probably just gonna call that person and say, hey, I need groceries. Come get this contract. And that happens. Like, I've literally gotten calls say, hey, Desmond, I need help finding this problem right here. Can you solve this for me? Do you know somebody that can do it? That's when you become valuable. When they literally call you, ask for your problem, for your solution. And that's where at the federal level, it's all about relationships, and you want to get sole source contracts. That's what a sole source is. A sole source is, hey, we have a problem. We know exactly who can fix it. Let me just give them a contract instead of telling everybody I need this problem fixed. And that's the position that you want to be on, right? So let's talk about bidding to win. Wait, do you want to talk about that? Okay, yeah. So there's two ways you can bid, right? You can, when you're bidding a contract. That's a good question, Darius. Thanks for sending me that text. So
I was bringing that up because we were talking about like on unison, and I want to make sure like everybody isn't trying to hit the government over the head on unison. that ain't the right way to win there.
Right. Okay, so there's three ways to win a contract, right? Well, three ways to bid a contract. The first way is you can bid to win the contract. So, you bid your best price. Say, hey, if I win at this price, awesome, I can get the job done and still be profitable. That's the first way. The second way, you can bid to compete. Let's say bidding to compete simply means that, let's say the cost is $100,000 to get a job done, right? You bid $98,000. You're bidding to win the contract because you will lose two, but you can still win the contract at 98 and still be profitable. Let's say your competitors are bidding at $100,000 and you bid at $100,000. You're bidding to be competitive. If you're bidding at 110, you're bidding to hit the government over the head, right? So you can bid the contract to make a big profit, or you can bid to compete with everybody and the best winner wins, or you can bid to win the contract. So I always say bid to win, because if you go a little bit lower than your competitors and you do that consistently over a period of time, you're going to be able to win contracts over a longer period of time than to bid to compete all the time, because you're still wasting energy because you're not winning. Does that make sense?
I think.
Yes.
All right, cool. Yeah. So you can bid to win, bid to compete, or just bid to win to make a big profit, right? So definitely know how you're bidding that contract, and it also goes back to knowing if it's an RFQ or an RFP. If it's an RFP, they want the best solution, and the best solution might be a lot more expensive than the lowest price. So if it's an RFP, they don't care what the price is. They want to get the thing fixed exactly how they want it to be fixed, and they will tell you what they want inside that proposal. If it's RFQ, they don't care about the highest price. They don't want the highest price. They just want the lowest price, right? And that's where you really have to know what type of contracts you're looking for. And there are different types of contracts that I kind of don't want to get into because it kind of is very like high advanced. So right now, okay, where's everybody in this group? Like what stage are you in your business? I want to make it like so that I'm actually giving you guys tangibles that you guys can take and implement rather than me just rambling.
What do you mean as far as the stage?
Like where are you in your business? Like tell me where you are in your business, and I'll give you a solution with government contracts.
I mean, I don't know. I'm still struggling with the question, but ultimately, I mean, I've been in business for 6 years. We provide creative services, so and we offer project management. So
And you've won contracts in the past already, right? You've won a few contracts already.
I didn't hear that last part. Say it again?
So you've won a few contracts in the past already, right? Like you said earlier.
Yes, I have.
Okay, so have you bid a contract providing the service that you actually provide, the creative services?
No, I was actually the officer that you're referring to. I actually came to them to try to provide something else, and they actually told me that, hey, we don't need that, but we need this. You do that. And I said, we didn't do it. This was not literally the time we did it. This was at the time when we had this conversation. I had never did it before. So when they said it to me, I'm like, okay, you asking me to basically host classes for the community that you're going to offer for free, but you're going to pay us to do. We didn't have a space. We didn't have anything. We had to have a local venue. We had to have a setup. We had to have all of these things in order to compete, right? So he was making sure that we came in from a low price perspective, but also making sure that we can solve the problem. So I mean, I had to go out there and say, okay, well, let me go rent a space. Hey, let me pay you. I'll rent this space. I have this space now. Yes, I have a space, and that was essentially how we were able to build a relationship. And I did that with two different type of classes, but I did them multiple times.
Right. So essentially what you're saying is the government had a problem and you solved it for them.
Yeah, a problem I didn't even know they had.
Exactly. So imagine if everybody in this group goes to the local government, goes to the local board of education, goes to the district courts, goes to the hospitals. Whatever your business model is that you provide, let's just say you go to a government building and ask them, hey, who's the chief operating officer in this building? Let me ask them a question. What do you guys need help with? Like what are you guys struggling to do? What contractors are not doing their jobs? Like, how can I make you guys' days better? How can I help you guys, do your jobs better? They might say, hey, we're really having trouble finding somebody to come teach your class right now. You say, you know what? I'm going to solve that problem for you. Then you go hit the pavement and you solve that problem. Now, that just fixing that problem will show them what? You're solution oriented. That might lead to more contracts down the road, which can lead to more contracts down the road and lead to more contracts down the road. Now, question, since that contract that you had, right, have you gone back to that agency?
Yeah, I'm in a relationship with them.
Okay, and how's it been since then?
We still provide the same service. I just don't do it anymore. I don't personally provide the class. But yeah, we still do it. And now instead of getting paid per class, we get paid per person in the class.
So it became even more profitable for you.
Yes, because essentially when we came in, we were willing to do a lot more for less. But then once we got that relationship, we noticed that it was a little bit of wiggle room, and we utilized it.
So now you pretty much negotiated better terms.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? All you gotta do is just take the first step. It's just like a leap of faith. Just take a leap of faith. Call your local government. Hey, what's up? I know you guys need some help with government contracts. I'm kind of new. Whatever problems y'all got, let me know. I'll solve it for you. Right? I know it's hard right now because of the pandemic, but you can literally do that. Like, you can literally go to your government and say, hey, what problems you guys having right now? You can go to their website and find supplies. Like right now, everybody, if you're on a computer, just type in your city, your county, your state, and add procurements, and you will literally see all the opportunities that are there right now. And you start reading through them and see what what attracts you, what aligns with what you want to do. And so most people try to enter the government market with a specific niche. It says, hey, I'm coming here to do staffing, only staffing. Well, there might not be a staffing contract for the next 4 months. You're going to sit and wait for 4 months? If you come in open-minded, says, hey, I'm just here to win a contract and get some experience to keep growing. That's when you see more opportunities, right? So when you're first starting out, you want to be we all want to be snipers, because being a sniper is how you really become successful in the government market, because you know exactly where your buyer is, and you're a sniper. You know exactly where you're shooting, and you shoot there, right? Yes, that's great, but it takes a lot of money to be able to do those sniper deals, right? So how do we start as small businesses to see the results that we want? The first thing is we gotta be a shotgun starting out. Now you can aim in a specific direction and then shoot, and whatever hits hits. Then just go with that one. Like he didn't know. It's Shane, right?
Sean.
Sean, I got you. Okay, so he came in there to provide creative. They said we don't need that right now. We want somebody to come teach. He was a shotgun. He just happened to say, hey, if that's what you want, I'll make it happen. And then he said, I'm gonna figure this thing out. Because when opportunity knocks, hey, either you're gonna answer or you're not gonna answer. He said, I'm gonna answer and I'm gonna take advantage of it. Now fast forward, he's getting residuals off that. We made able to make a lot of money on that particular contract, right? So it's really all about just do it. Like Nike said, you want to do government contracts, go to your state's website and start looking for opportunities. Right now, if you have a business, you can start bidding on contracts. Just go to your state website and start looking. That's it. Start looking. Eventually, you'll see something that works. When you see something that works, read the RFP, read the RFQ, understand everything, create an outline, and then start plugging information. And most of the times, RFQs are not even like they're not very it's not really a proposal, right? They'll essentially give you a template and say just fill it out. They'll literally have all the documents in there. Just like literally write your name, your company name, your address, your price, and the quantities. It's literally like they make it's so simple. I cannot simplify it
More
enough.
like an application for me.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
I didn't really consider it a proposal. They considered it was more like an application.
That's literally it. It's literally an application. Thank you for saying that. That went over my head a second ago. But yes, it's literally an application for RFQs. Proposals are more so, hey, you got to write a paper, right? I'm going to ask you a few questions and write the paper. Tell me how you're going to solve this particular problem. I want to see your approach. I want to see your capabilities. I want to see how solution oriented you are, how risk adverse you are. I want to see that. But for RFQs, which are most of the contracts at the state level, RFQs, they are literally most of them at the state level, where they just want the lowest price. It's literally an application, like you said. Just go find the RFP, read it, see if you can do it, and do your best to fill out the information. And most of the time, not all the time, most of the time, if you, let's say, input the information wrong, right? But you put your best foot forward, they might just call you and say, hey, did you mean to say this instead? And you're going to say, yes, that's what I meant to say, right? So it's so easy. Like the best way to grow your business is you just start to grow it. I've been saying, I've been saying the same thing for the past 5 days. I don't know what else to say.
To harp on what Desmond was saying, when you guys start looking at your procurement offices, and you pull up these contracts, and when they have the people of contact on the contract, when they have their phone number and their email, don't hesitate to reach out to these people, because believe it or not, even though you're a small business, even though you don't have tons of experience, the people giving these contracts out would rather give them out to a small local business to keep the money within their state. They're not jumping out the gate to give $100,000 to a company that's just going to take all their money and spend it all in Vegas when the job was in Alabama. So don't hesitate to reach out to these people if you want to do work. If this is something that you want to do for your business, all you got to do is relay that message to them. Tell them that I saw this contract. I'm very interested in pursuing this contract. This is what I can do. These are the services I can provide. Because at the end of the day, yeah, they work for the government. Yeah, the government is this entity. But the people that are handing out these contracts and the people that are giving out all this money are regular people. At the end of the day, all they want to make sure is that when they give you this money, you do the job. That's it. If you see a RFP, if you see a proposal for a certain amount of items or a job that needs to be done, At the end of the day, all they want to make sure is that if they give you this money, if they pay you to do this job, the job is going to get done. And it doesn't matter if you have $1 million in revenue or if you just created your company 2 weeks ago. It doesn't matter.
Facts. Yeah, and like what Darius said about though, they want to keep the money in their community. They don't want you to come like okay. So most of the time, this is what happens, right? Outside, people in this within the state don't bid the contracts, and people from other states are coming in and winning the contracts that are meant for this state. So imagine you're in Baltimore and somebody from Virginia is coming and doing projects in your backyard because you didn't submit a bid. And then now you're complaining about there's no opportunity in your neighborhood. Well, are you bidding contracts? No. So then why you pointing the finger, right? So they want to keep the money within that community. They want to keep it circulating within that community because if it's circulating within that community, they're improving that particular community and they're doing their jobs, right? But the problem is if we're not bidding contracts, we cannot point the finger and say there's no opportunity. There's so much opportunity out there. All we have to do is literally reach out and take a little bit of effort to make it happen. Like me, I've been doing government contracts for about 2 years now. Only like 2 years, and I've won over $2 million in contracts in 2 years. I started this not knowing a single thing about government contracting. I was literally driving trucks. And I wanted to put my transportation company. A millionaire met me and said, "Hey, you seem too smart to be doing driving trucks. Learn about your MBE." I'm like, "What? What's an MBE?" So that same night, I go home. I'm looking up online, MBE, Minority Business Enterprise. I'm like, what? This exists? I start doing some more research. I find out it's government contracting and that the government is mandated that 23% of all government spending must be spent with small and minority owned businesses. I'm like, what? This exists? I'm like, oh Lord have mercy. The next morning I quit my job. Literally. This was on Sunday night. Monday I quit my job. Said, you know what? I'm gonna figure this thing out. And worst case scenario, I'll move back to my mom's house. So I start pounding the pavement. What did I do? I started going to all the events to learn how to do government contracting. I'm meeting other representatives, shaking hands, meeting prime contractors, meeting subcontractors. Everybody knew who Desmond was. This young African American, always got a suit on, always trying to shake hands, network. I'm hungry for opportunity, eyes wide open, and I'm like a hungry dog in the back of a meat truck looking for a contract. Yeah, I'm eating. I'm trying to find something, but I cannot figure it out. So what did I do? I went and got a job working for a company that's won over $22 billion in contracts. I only did that so I can learn how to do government contracting from a very high level. After I did that, I took what I learned working from them. I took what I learned pounding the pavement, connected the dots, and essentially start bidding contracts. Within my first 30 days, I won a $25,000 contract to pull carpet. I've never done carpet in my life, ever. But I was like, you know what? I can pull that damn carpet off. Just like he said, I can teach this course. So I went on Craigslist, got a few references, went to Home Depot, got some scrapers, rented a buffer, and we went and pulled that damn carpet off. Pulled the carpet off, got the adhesive off, scraped it up. They gave me the best. They said, "Oh my goodness, Desmond, you did a great job." I said, "Thank you. Whatever opportunities you have, send it my way." Springfield Hospital in Maryland. Still to this day, I still talk to the procurement office. I'm like, "Hey, whatever y'all need, just let me know." Occasionally say, "Hey, we need like a roofer to come fix the roof. We need, like an electrician." I'll send people. We need pest control. I'll send people to them, and then they'll take care of it. But I'm not doing that for me anymore. I'm just giving them value over and over and over again. So I'm always first in their mind when opportunity presents themselves. Now, let's say 2 or 3 years from now, let's say there's a big opportunity that comes up, and they're trying to figure out who can do it. Who are they gonna think of? Oh yeah, let's call Desmond. Here I come, saving the day, right? And all that started because I literally learned about government contracting, and the next day I committed. I'll say I'm gonna figure this thing out, right? And there's actually what's going on? Give me a second. There's I know I wrote this down. Where is it? Okay, so Darius, talk for a second. Let me find this. Okay, so yeah, so my bad, I came back at it. Feel like we're
Okay.
repeating ourselves. Okay, so what happens is, right, when this is how you become, I guess, successful. The first thing happens is a revelation. You have a revelation like, oh my God, I can do this. The day I learned about government contracting, that was my revelation. The next morning, I was convicted, meaning that I quit my job and said, I'm gonna figure this out. And I was like, it's like a bow and arrow. When you release the bow and arrow, it's going straight. So the Sunday I had my revelation about government contracting. Monday I was convicted and saying, I'm gonna figure this thing out. And I followed it up with action. Now fast forward all that action to now, I'm on the Clubhouse chat talking about government contracting with over $2 million in contract experience. And I have a full university teaching people how to do it. All because I had that revelation. So everybody needs to find that revelation that's going to drive them to do whatever it takes to bring it to fruition. The problem is most of us don't have those revelations because we're not seeking revelations. We're simply just trying to go day to day to do the average status quo. So we really have to start seeking opportunity. And if you constantly start thinking about opportunity, thinking about your future, you will ultimately find the right path to get you there. Like I was never supposed to learn about government contracting. I was not. Just the way I even got in touch with this mentor was a crazy story I don't even want to get into, right? But it was because I was constantly thinking about how am I going to get successful? How am I going to get successful? I was always trying to find the best way for me to become successful. And the process of constantly thinking about that, I manifested that whole encounter that led me to meet this multimillionaire that told me about my MBE. And he didn't even say government contracting. All he said was MBE. But I was convicted enough from that conversation to actually no, I was open-minded enough from that conversation to investigate further. Because the average person, I might say MBE right now, and everybody in this group, nobody looks it up except one person. And now that one person goes down and becomes extremely successful because they looked up what MBE was, and while looking it up, they got an idea. That idea led to another idea, which led to more ideas. And the next thing you know, they have great ideas that are making them very profitable, right? So it's all about just knowing what you want and essentially attracting it and just having faith that it's going to come to you, right? In this group, how many of you guys have actually planned your whole life? Don't.
I mean, I have. I plan my grandkids like.
Bro, when I tell you I've planned my whole life till I'm like 90 years old, like literally like in 5-year increments. Now, man plan, God last, right? I understand that. But it gives me a direction. So I have 5-year goals I want to constantly keep, getting to and achieving. So if you plan your life, you know exactly where you're gonna be going. What was that? Cisse, how you doing? I hope I said that right.
Yeah, you did. How you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Nah, I definitely understand that. I actually grew up in the DMV area and everything. I feel like the misstep is definitely, especially if you grow up with immigrant parents and things like that. You see where you want to go, but then it's like, how do I get there? You know what I mean? Like, because nobody really shows you, or they can't show you because they don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So just kind of understanding how to get to point A to point B with as little failures as possible. I think for me is like what I want to do because we're young, we're trying to figure it out, we're trying to make generational wealth. So like even just like starting a business and making sure my statement's right, my mission's right,
It's never gonna be right. It's never gonna be right. Like I fail every day. Every day I fail. Like literally, you have to be willing to fail because only time you fail is if you did not learn from it. Every failure, everything time I failed, I learned from it and made it a positive experience. That's the thing. There's two things that can happen, right? Any scenario, whatever happens, you can play the negative, you can go down the negative path with it or the positive path with it. But if you go on the negative path, you will see negative results. If you go on the positive path, you will see positive results all the time. So whenever I'm faced with adversity, I find the best case scenario out of this and I pursue it. And I always do that. Even if somebody hangs up on me on the phone, right? And I said, wow, instead of saying, oh, he's a bad customer, he wasn't going to buy anyways, well, I could have said something better. Let me actually go back and see what I said to trigger him to hang up on that call. In the process of playing the positive, going on the positive path, I'm going to fine tune my skills, make it better. Because I can only control me. I cannot control what anybody else does. You can only control your actions, right? So the best thing you can do is not let failure keep you from going forward. And I know you said it's hard to essentially create that path, right? Because you want somebody to show you the way. Okay, so prime example with me. I came to America when I was 11 years old in 2006. My mom, back in Africa, we were very wealthy back in Africa. We came to America. My parents, they were wealthy in Africa. We came here. We lived in my aunt's house for a year, for 1 year. That first year in 2006, or this was the economic crash or whatever. Then we were there for like 9 months. My parents got an apartment, down in a bad neighborhood. And I was in seventh grade when we got the apartment. Seventh, eighth grade, my dad bought a house next to my aunt's house, right? Because he wanted to get us out of that neighborhood. So I was a very troublesome kid growing up. Very troublesome. Like, people will look at me today, they're like, this is Desmond? Oh my goodness, this is Desmond? Yeah, the U-turn, right? But I always knew that I wanted to be extremely successful. I didn't know how I was going to get there. I just knew I would get there. And I knew that if I constantly thought about how I'm going to become successful and just took action in that direction, I'm going to eventually get there. And through persistence and taking massive action, it happened a lot sooner than expected because God aligned me with everything. Even through all my trials and tribulations, I always found the positive in it because every time I fell, I bounced back harder and I learned from it, right? It's kind of like digging, like imagine digging taking a shovel and digging a hole. Every time you mess up, you dig in a hole, right? The question is, are you gonna keep messing up and digging more holes, or are you gonna try to climb out every single time? And every time I fell, I always climbed out. Every time I fell, I always climbed out. Every time I fell, I always climbed out. I did not like digging myself in holes. So climbing out is essentially learning from the experience and growing from it, rather than letting the experience define who you are. And I feel like most of us has, minorities in this country, we let situations define who we are. We need to define who we are ourselves, not the circumstances, not the environment. Now, environment might play into it because if you're growing up in a terrible neighborhood, there's a lot of distractions, right? So I'm definitely, I understand that, right? But you can still overcome that. It might be harder to do it, but you can definitely still overcome it. I know some people that grew up in the worst possible neighborhoods, but they were disciplined enough and had bigger goals than where they were at. Like for me, okay, let's do it this way. Imagine the four. Okay, right now there's Desmond, Darius, Cisse, and Melanie. Oh my goodness, I wasn't the best speller. Okay, Melanie.
Okay, Melanie.
Melanie. See, I knew it. I knew it. Okay. All right. So look, Desmond. All right. Pull to refresh. Okay, that's the order. So Desmond, Darius, Cisse, and Melanie. Right. So Desmond, that's the employee box. Right. Under Desmond is the self-employed. Darius is the business owner. Cisse, she's the investor, right? Most of us are employees, so you guys are Desmond. The problem is, as an employee, you want safety. You want, have good pay, benefits, retire at 60, right? That's what they taught you to do. Get a good paying job and you'll be good for life. Pay your taxes and mind your own business. That's the employee. That's where 95% of the population is. Under me, those are self-employed. Those are people that don't want to be employees, like let's say plumbers, doctors, lawyers, like people that they work for themselves, but they get paid high dollars because they're high level skills, right? So let's say for a lawyer, for instance, if a lawyer leaves his practice for a year, he's gonna come back, his business is gonna fail because he wasn't there. Same thing with doctors, even dentists. If they leave their business and come back, it's gonna fail because they were not there. Now, to be successful, actually, wait, before I go that, on the left hand side, so Desmond and Melanie, right? We are trading time for money. We trade our time for money. Employees trade the time for money. Self-employed, they trade the time for money, except they get paid more. On the right hand side, Darius is a business owner. He is a good leader. His job is to find the right people and build a team around him so that when he leaves and goes on vacation for a year and he comes back to his business, His business has skyrocketed because he has the right people in place. Jeff Bezos, he's a business owner. He's a good leader. He's built a mechanism and put people in position to where he doesn't have to be in this business on a day-to-day basis, right? Under Darius, she's an investor. She sends her money to work, right? She invests her money and gets recurring revenue, and she does not have to work. All of us want to be on the right side, right? The problem is to be on the right side, you have to change your thinking. So right now, my whole life growing up, even if I was an employee, my mindset was always in the business quadrant. It's called the four quadrants by Robert Kiyosaki. Every time I was an employee, my mind was always I was always moving as if I'm Darius. Every time, literally, like even when I was in high school, I was always moving as if I'm Darius. I was always moving as if I'm CSEC, right? Now most of us, we are employees I think there's got a call because he just left now, but um we are employees and we transition to self-employed, right? We become self-employed and then we translate, to businesses and then from business to investor. But you can actually skip. You can go from being an employee to an investor. So from Desmond to Darius now, or from Desmond to Shine, or I don't know how you pronounce that damn name, but we can skip these different quadrants, right? And it's more so about knowing exactly what quadrant you are in and just having that mindset, hey, I want to be an investor and I want to be a business owner. So my mind is going to align with that. Darius is texting me saying that, bruh, what the hell are you talking about? I am so lost. Oh my goodness. Okay, all I'm saying is there's four quadrants. This employee, self-employed, business owner, and investor. If you want to be a real business owner, you have to think as if you are a real business owner. So all your actions must align as if you are a real business owner, even if you're not a real business owner. You can be working in Walmart and be working in Walmart with the mindset, hey, I'm a business owner. Since you believe it in your mind, you'll be able to manifest it into real life. Because everything starts with a thought. From thought it takes action, and from action brings it to fruition. So simply think it. If you think it, you will eventually create it in your mind, in the real world. I'm going on a crazy tangent right now. But okay, I was almost up. Anybody got questions?
No worries.
Okay.
I got what you're saying though.
Yes, like okay, by the way, like I'm definitely gonna take like
somebody did.
yeah, I'm gonna take I'm gonna take a few days off this thing. I'm gonna take a few days off this app because like I've been talking about the same stuff for the past like 5 days. I'm trying to find new ways to I guess teach the same thing. It's hard. Okay, it's hard. So somebody asked me a question.
I will say that that fear of failure, the not wanting to fail, that is something that you will have to get over in the government market, because if you don't, then you're going to spend a lot of time overthinking about when you don't win a contract. You're going to spend a lot of time like, oh damn, the government didn't pick me because I didn't do this right, or I'm not good enough for this. When most of the time it's just that they bid $5 less than you did, and you don't want to sit there and overthink yourself to death about losing out on contracts. Me and Desmond have had times where we worked for weeks putting an entire proposal together with a company, and then the day the contract is due, we need one more document, and the people we're working with don't answer the phone.
Mm-hmm.
So we wasted an entire week putting a bid together for hundreds of thousands of dollars, and the day that the bid is due, the business owner decides, this is too much for me. We don't want to do it. So, we could hang our head down and call it a failure, but we just say, all right, okay, and then we hop back on the phone and
find the next one.
And just find the next one,
Yeah.
So that fear of not wanting, of not knowing if you're going to do good, or that fear of failure, it's not a big deal, because there are literally thousands of contracts that get post it every day. If that one doesn't work, just go find another one and do it again.
Yeah.
All right. So I know I have a question for you, but then you've been going and you say you want to say something new. So, NAICS.
Next goes.
All right. Help everybody out because, as I'm looking at the certifications, it's saying if you land under this industry or that, you might be clashing. And I want to know if I'm willing to problem solve everything, what should I say?
Just put something as a placeholder for now. Just put a few things on there as a placeholder. You can always change it based on the opportunity, right? So if they come to you and say, hey, we want to, like, you can always change your next code. It's not like a set in stone thing. You can always go back and just update it if you want to.
Okay, that's great. I feel like that I had another question. Okay, because I haven't seen the same people, can you do the run through of the websites you want us to be looking at? There's Sam, all of the websites, it's like 4 or 5 of them. If you could just